When Porsche updated the 911, we knew a new GT3 and GT3 RS weren't far off, and at Geneva 2017, the GT3 has peeked out its head and it's shaping up to be something rather special. Let's dispense with the normal preamble and talk power. In the back, there's a naturally aspirated 4-litre engine that kicks out 500 horsepower and 339 pound-foot. Porsche said it's super closely related to its GT3 Cup racer. It's also built on the same line as those cars and tested in the same places. So essentially, it's a freaking race car. Except there are a few things on there that will make it a pretty good road car as well. But before we get onto that, let's take a look at what makes Porsche's GT cars so special.
What's the point of a 911 GT3 then? How comes a standard Porsche 911 isn't enough for you? Well, the GT 911s have always been a hark back to the famed 911 Carrera RSs of the 1970s. Back then, the famed 2.7-litre 9 Alpha was built to meet homologation requirements. You know the jam, make and sell X number of cars and then you can race them. Nowadays, the 2.7-litre cars are worth more than you can possibly imagine, but the ethos that came with them lives on today. The GT Porsches come with less weight, more power, a harder setup, actual downforce creating wings, an engine that screams like nothing else, and of course, looks to kill. The 991.1 GT3 was lauded as a car that you could almost use daily, but the people who said that tend to live on racetracks, so you can use them daily, but you probably don't want to. What it was though was a perfect car for hooning in. It was fast, offered amazing feedback, and by heavens it was quick. Its PDK only gearbox option may have caused consternation for those who hadn't driven one, but it worked very well in practice. GT owners don't tend to treat their motors as garage queens. They drive them hard and often. They also do one thing you'd hope a car developed by Porsche's most hardcore engineers would be treated to. They track them a lot. Let's just hope the next generation GT3 will get the same treatment.
I reckon the new owners will track them, but before they do, they'll have to make a choice. Do they go for the PDK, or do they go for the manual? Porsche's given it a 6-speed manual gearbox as a no-cost option. We screamed, we shouted, and Porsche listened. Now, if you choose to change gears on your own, it'll take 3.9 seconds to get to 62 miles an hour and top out at 198 miles an hour. Or if you go for the PDK, it's a little bit heavier, but it's also quicker. 0 to 62 takes 3.4 and it tops out at 197 miles an hour. You know what? I would kill to see the buyers split. Would you go manual? Would you go PDK? I know what I would do, but let me know. What would you do? So let's talk about the outside of the car. The front end's been redesigned. It's lighter and better for aero. Same with the rear. It's still got a massive carbon fibre wing on it as well, and it produces 20% more downforce than the 991.1 generation 911 GT3. So it's shaping up to be pretty hardcore, what with more power and less weight. There's also some plenty racy bits in there. So as well as the more downforce, there's dynamic engine mounts, a limited slip diff in the back, and rear wheel steer for better low-speed manoeuvring, but also better high-speed cornering. Inside, it's pretty much a standard Porsche GT car affair, which means there's pretty much nothing in there, no rear seats and what have you, but there is the new infotainment system, which is pretty good. Do you want one? Well, in the UK, the order books are open and it'll cost you a sniff under £112,000. The only question is, what colour will you have your manual GT3 in? I'll go with purple.